There's a stranger there among them, had a big iron on his hip, big iron on his head.
First of all, for everybody that is here, I sincerely appreciate the opportunity for NASCAR and PIR to be invited to say something today and participate. For those of us at Phoenix International Raceway, this is actually our 50th anniversary season. The track was founded in 1964, so this is very appropriate because we've spent a good portion of 2014 looking back and recognizing all the contributions made from the people that have built not only our racetrack but the sport to what it is today. So the letter that I'm going to read today is from Brian France, who is the chairman and CEO of NASCAR. Brian is the grandson of a gentleman known as Big Bill. Big Bill France founded NASCAR in 1948. His son, Bill Jr., brought it into the modern day, and Brian today oversees the sport that is on television every Sunday afternoon, and what we know as the Stars with Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr. And I thought that, you know, when I heard about this opportunity and read the letter and read a little bit about this, the first guy I called is my dad. And I wanted to get a little bit of perspective about Marty Robbins. And I'm interested to hear from Ronnie or anyone else that is here. My dad said that the song El Paso was not supposed to be a hit because everything else is about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes long, and that song was it was twice as long as that. 4 minutes, 37 seconds long. They said that'll never happen. And he proved them all wrong. How appropriate for a young man from Glendale, Arizona, right? So, on behalf of Brian France, let me read this for you. To the Glendale Arizona Historical Society, on behalf of the France family and everyone at NASCAR, thank you for including our industry in this most special day of honoring a true legend, Marty Robbins. Marty was a rarity. He was a celebrity race car driver who actually became very good at what was sort of a moonlighting career. He actually made 35 starts in the NASCAR, what is now known as the Sprint Cup Series, the pinnacle of motorsports in North America. And he didn't just start, he raced, with 6 top 10 finishes over a 16-year period. His best finish was 5th place in June of '74 at the Motor State 360 at the Superfast Michigan International Speedway. That same season, he raced twice at the world's largest oval racetrack, Talladega Superspeedway, where he finished 9th and 15th. Marty made 2 starts in the Great American Race, the Daytona 500, but arguably his greatest NASCAR moments were his 2 top 10 efforts in one of NASCAR's premier events, the Southern 500 at Darlington Raceway. Marty was a very close friend of my grandfather, NASCAR founder Bill France Sr. These 2 legendary gentlemen loved racing, music, and fishing, so it was only natural they would hit it off. There are some great stories about Marty accompanying my grandfather on fishing trips, and how my grandfather would talk him into some impromptu late-night singing sessions. One of my grandfather's favorite Marty Robbins songs was also about racing, called 20th Century Drifter. The 2 men were together at Talladega the night Marty wrote the song. My grandfather loved to have Marty sing it at their gatherings through the years. One of the signature lines in that song was this one: "Racing runs deep in my veins and I'll never shake it." Well, Marty never could shake it, and for that, NASCAR and our family will be forever grateful. Regards, Brian France. Thank you.
He's an outlaw, loose and running, came a whisper from each lip, and he's here to do some business with that big iron on his hip.
Ronnie was correct. We tried to do this for many, many, many years unsuccessfully. And when I left, it was still in the works. Now, Ronnie called one day and we were talking about Glendale. And I said, the State Highway Department has agreed to put a plaque over Grand Avenue. And he said, how can you put a plaque over Grand Avenue? He had no knowledge that it had all changed. He also said, there's La Perla there. And I said, yes, it is. And he said, well, that was one of my father's favorite handouts. I want to thank you all. You are a great audience. He is a great friend. I want to thank Jessica Corey. I want to thank Ryan Short. I want to thank the people in the committee. I am so proud of what is happening today that I really do not know how to accept it correctly. I thank you all for being here. This is the most popular, the most knowledgeable gentleman that ever grew up in Glendale, and it's about time we recognize that.
And the notches on his pistol numbered 119 more, 119 more.
This whole project's been in the works for about 2 years, and this is from the board of directors for the Glendale Arizona Historical Society. The board thought it would be important to have something to honor Marty Robbins, since Marty is a native son of Glendale. He was born here in 1925. Today is his birthday. He would have been 89 years old today, and they felt it would be very important to have a plaque that would be interpretive and tell the Marty Robbins story about him growing up in Glendale. He grew up here in Glendale. He went to war at 17. His mother signed the papers. He saw action in the Pacific. He came back here, learned to play the guitar and sing in the Navy, came back here, started doing some local gigs at bars in this particular area, got some radio gigs, they got a television gig, local television gig, and then he got discovered. And off to Nashville he went, and the rest is really history.
The contribution that he's made to the whole world, not just, in the United States, but you go, we traveled in Europe a lot, and you go into a restaurant and you can hear him singing there, and that was in Germany. France, not so much. They had mostly French songs, but Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, all had Marty Robbins songs, and I've always been a real fan of his, but I never thought I would get involved in an organization that's supporting his memory and his songs.
Texas red, not cleared leather, and a bullet fairly ripped, and the Ranger's aim was deadly with that big iron on his hip.
It's such an honor. Glendale was a big part of Daddy's early life, and his early life wasn't the best. Growing up in the Depression, there's a lot of people that have the same story, but his dad left the family when he was 12, and to grow up through those teenage years without any real guidance, he had some issues with. He knew quite a few of the police, people in the police department on a first name basis. So, knowing what the early history was, and then knowing that he's forgiven, I guess is the best way to put it. I shouldn't say that, but he, Glendale was always a special place in his heart, and it's really just such an honor to be, recognized and appreciated, even though, and I know he saw it, while he was still alive. He's been gone 31 years, but he came back to Glendale many times. We came back every year for Christmas and summer vacation, and so, I was in the Phoenix area for a month out of the year, so it's like a second home to me.
20 minutes tried to take him, 20 minutes made a slip. 21 would be that Ranger with that big iron on his hip.
It was great to meet the Hickmans finally. I've heard the name for years and years and years, and there's so many of the people that I knew them by name. I've been in contact with them. Of course, Mr. Lieberman, we had never met until today, but we've been on the phone for 15, 18 years, I guess, and in various, facets of trying to put some kind of a tribute together, and to see the emotion on his face today, that now that it's finally transpired, it meant a lot to me, and I know it meant the world to him. And
I've heard talk about it for years.
And of course, to have the mayor here and so many distinguished people, Daddy would have just been thrilled, because he probably would never dreamed in a million years that Glendale would honor him like this.
Big iron, when he tried to match that Ranger with that big iron on his hip.
I just want to take this opportunity to thank everybody in Glendale that was a part of this, that remembered Daddy in this way, and it just meant so much to our family, and I know it would have meant so much to him. I wish he could be here to see it, and I know he's probably looking down and smiling.
And I congratulate all of you on making this happen. This is really great. Incrementalized, we do small things, The next time we'll try to get a bronze, maybe we'll try to get a street named or something, but we're going to take small steps and get things done, right? Okay, so very good. We're not going to rename Glendale Marty Robbins. It's not going to happen. But we're going to have Marty Robbins in Glendale forever. Hey, thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you.